Hi guys, we are back with another Demon Slayer recap. We will start when Tanjiro gets to Mitsuri's mansion. Hashira greets him with open arms and starts making black tea and pancakes for him. After Mitsuri gives him a slice, Tanjiro, who is not familiar with these Western dishes, seems to like the dinner. She then requests that he put on a pink uniform and participate in a dancing exercise that she leads, stressing the value of flexibility in order to achieve more precise moves. Later, much to Tanjiro's dismay, Mitsuri forces one of the trainees into a painful split while helping the others with a stretching routine. After that, Tanjiro goes to Obanai's house, where the serpent Hashira tells him how much he despises him after learning of Mitsuri's affection for Tanjiro. However, though startled by this hostility, Tanjiro begins the harsh training under the rude Hashira's eyes. As the times passes, Tanjiro endures grueling training under the strict supervision of two Hashira, Obanai and later Sanemi. Tanjiro hesitates in Obanai's dojo when practicing his sword skills because he doesn't want to harm the other students who are strapped to posts all over the place, but Obanai, who is already not happy about him being here, hits and chastises him repeatedly because of this hesitancy. In spite of these challenges, Tanjiro perseveres because he wants to relieve the load on his fellow trainees. Tanjiro learns throughout the sparring that in order to succeed, he needs to concentrate only on Obanai. To avoid distractions, he places himself in a deep forest. When he eventually hits Obanai's hori, it signifies that he has completed the training, but Obanai doesn't warm up and tells him to avoid Mitsuri. Next, Tanjiro enters Sanemi's harsh training, where trainees are pushed to the brink by the wind Hashira's unrelenting sparring, frequently to the point that they pass out or vomit blood. While Tanjiro sees Zenitsu's valiant attempt to flee this difficult training, they both decide to stick with it together. Despite Sanemi's obvious lack of acceptance of Tanjiro, Tanjiro is still committed to getting better and winning the next fights, despite the obstacles. During this grueling training, Tanjiro is harshly treated by Sanemi, the wind Hashira, who takes advantage of any moment of distraction to attack him, leaving Tanjiro battered and disheartened. Following his workout, Tanjiro hears Sanemi and his brother Genya fighting. In a last-ditch effort to make amends with Sanemi, Genya admits that he even consumed demons to get stronger. Tanjiro steps in to stop Sanemi from attacking Genya as he becomes enraged, which sparks a physical altercation between the two. Even though the trainees try to break up the fight, it goes on until dusk, which means Tanjiro's training with Sanemi is put on hold. Walking with Zenitsu the next day, Tanjiro laments over his failure to mediate the fight between the Shinazugawa. They see Jomi Haimejima, the stone Hashira, and see firsthand the rigorous training his disciples receive, which includes standing under a waterfall and chanting. As he greets Tanjiro and Zenitsu at his training grounds, Jomi alludes to the difficult tasks that lie ahead while stressing the value of strengthening the lower body on the training field to enhance assault precision and defense. Training includes pushing a huge boulder for a predetermined amount of time, lifting heavy logs, and enduring a strong waterfall. Jomi chooses against installing fire because of worries about trainee safety, but Zenitsu still passes out and has to be tossed into the river. He is quite uncomfortable when he wakes up from the cold. Clinging to stones, he feels the warmth that he likens to his mother's care. As Tanjiro attempts to survive the waterfall, he realizes that Inosuke is in danger. After giving Inosuke CPR, he eventually makes a full recovery. Even though Tanjiro finds the waterfall training difficult, he perseveres through it with Murata's help as he begins the log training while Murata reveals that it took him an entire day to adjust. While the trainees take a break, Tanjiro grills fish for them, and Inosuke compliments Jomi on his strength. Zenitsu is skeptical of Jomi's assertions that he can move big rocks, but Jomi stuns everyone with his strength by pushing a huge boulder. Tanjiro is enthusiastic and committed to matching Jomi's strengths despite Zenitsu's doubts regarding the rigorous training. He keeps up his diligent job, supervising the log training and getting ready to push the boulder as the last assignment. However, somewhere else, the Baiwa demon, Nakimi, informs Muzan about the whereabouts of demon slayers in the town, but she hasn't yet located the demon impervious to sunlight. She has made good progress, and Muzan tells her to look in a different place. While Muzan hopes to discover Nezuko and Kagaya eventually, Nakimi utilizes her biwa to find 2 more demon slayers. In the meantime, Tanjiro finds it difficult to push a rock while practicing. He sees trainees abandoning the mountain because they are unable to keep up, and his sandals break. Though they regret it, Tanjiro's words give them hope, and they go with newfound vigor. To further lift the spirits, Tanjiro cooks onigiri for the trainees. They talk about Tanjiro's abilities and how hard Hashira's training was. Thinking back to his previous cooking endeavors and the difficulties he encounters with the boulder, Tanjiro questions whether he is weak or not using the proper technique. He is working hard, but he hasn't made much progress yet. To get some hindsight, Genya and Tanjiro talk about training with Jomei, who has been reprimanding Genya for his behavior while he is under house arrest, but he has learned to employ repetitive action, a method that increases focus by repeating an action to move the boulder. Tanjiro should apply this strategy, Genya suggests, but it demands intense emotional concentration. When Tanjiro tries it, he is able to move the boulder a little bit because he remembers Kyojiro's words and the faces of his family. He continues and eventually moves the boulder effectively, impressing his buddies, even if at first he becomes distracted and his mark starts to vanish. In the meantime, Muzan muses over Kagaya's schemes and the state of the Demon Slayer Corps in the Infinity Castle. The next day, Zenitsu's sparrow arrives in the early morning with a note, which he initially disregards. In the meantime, Tanjiro succeeds in pushing his boulder, finishing the exercise, and passing out. Jomei, impressed by this display, praises his efforts while offering him assistance with water. After considering his hesitancy during the combat in Swordsmith Village and his current hardships, Tanjiro feels unworthy of the accolades. Jomei, who once took care of orphans, remembers a terrible incident in which a boy betrayed him and the kids to a demon, which ultimately caused their deaths. Jomei values Tanjiro's resolve and tenacious spirit, even in spite of his prior setbacks and appearance. He also recognizes Tanjiro's persistence in achieving his goals. Jomei recalls a painful memory from the past, where he battles with a demon ferociously out of grief and rage in order to shield Sayo, who is scared and confused. Jomei is hurt by the violence he must inflict and is conflicted about utilizing all of his strength against the demon, despite his unrelenting assault on it. As a result of Sayo misinterpreting his actions and calling him a monster, he is imprisoned for murder. However, Kagaya saves him from execution, but he starts to distrust people. Jomei chooses to back Tanjiro because she believes he is a unique, pure individual who remains strong in the face of adversity. Moved by Jomei's generosity, Tanjiro expresses gratitude to him and Jomei recognizes Tanjiro's potential. The scene also includes the interactions of other characters, emphasizing their conflicts and personal development. After the emotional talk with Jomei, Tanjiro comes across Zenitsu, who is having trouble with a personal issue and hasn't moved from his training boulder. He also rejects Tanjiro's offers to assist him, saying that he only cares about his own quest. When Tanjiro gets to Gyu's house, he discovers Gyu and Sanemi fighting ferociously. When Sanemi gets angry and attacks Tanjiro, his attempt to reconcile by providing ohagi as a peace offering is unsuccessful. Gyu clarifies that their altercation was a necessary component of their training, and Tanjiro says he hopes to win Sanemi over by always having ohagi available. Sanemi, who is annoyed by the disruption and the lack of additional Hashira, realizes that the core is being infiltrated when he finds a demonic marked eye that burns to ash. The scene then shifts to a dramatic sight as Muzan arrives at the Yubayashiki mansion to confront Kagaya Yubayashiki. Muzan snidely remarks on Kagaya's deteriorating appearance, and Kagaya acknowledges his presence. We see a hostile meeting between the demon progenitor and the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps. Even though Kagaya was given only a few months to live 6 months ago and is in poor health, he has persisted in fighting Muzan out of a pure drive to win. Disappointed at Kagaya's declining condition, Muzan, getting cocky, makes fun of both his looks and the seeming pointlessness of his fight. Kagaya discloses that since his family gave birth to a monster similar to Muzan, they have been cursed. The Yubayashiki family has dedicated itself to hunting Muzan as their sole chance of survival after suffering terrible early deaths for generations. However, Muzan, who has never tasted divine vengeance for his own innumerable crimes, writes this curse off as nothing but folly. As this meeting is going on with quiet defiance, Kagaya Ubayashiki greets Muzan Kibutsuji, stating that his death will only make the Demon Slayer Corps stronger and musing on humanity's enduring hatred for Muzan. Furious after seeing that Kagaya is not afraid of him, Muzan laughs at Kagaya's illness and brushes aside his ideas about immortality. But as they are talking abruptly, there is an explosion in the Yubayashiki mansion, killing Kagaya and his wife instantly and demolishing the structure. Noticing this explosion, the Hashira rush there, and when they arrive, they discover the area to be in ruins. Even though Muzan is hurt, he begins to recover and discovers that Kagaya set up a trap with spikes and explosives. Seeing that Tamayo is also there, Muzan severely makes fun of her previous transgressions and mistakes, but she firmly asks Jomi for assistance before accepting her fate. Bringing back memories of Kagaya Yubaishiki's belief in using him as bait, Jomi listens to Tamayo and enters the place, and he also ends up hitting Muzan with his flail. But Muzan gets angry and runs into the Hashira, who have come to confront him as he recovers from the attack. Tanjiro and the other Hashira use their individual breathing techniques to engage Muzan. But Muzan laughs at their blows and summons the Infinity Castle, drawing them into another reality that causes everyone to look flustered and shocked as demon slayers like Genya, Inosuke, and others are carried into the castle, along with them when they fall. Every character responds to the view of the castle differently. Some are excited, while others are fearful or determined to finally put an end to this. However, in the back, noticing the expressions of the demon slayers, Muzan mocks their predicament and vows to annihilate every last demon slayer. Tanjiro, listening to these threats by Muzan, fueled by rage, declares that Muzan is the one in hell and vows to defeat him despite the overwhelming odds that are stacked against them. So that's it, folks. What do you guys think about this season of the Demon Slayer, and what would you like to see in the upcoming season? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, like this video and subscribe to our channel.